Hello, my name is John Paul Mokwalu. I just wanted to introduce myself to you. I'm a native English speaker from England, and I was born and educated in the UK. I'm a naturally warm and enthusiastic person, and one of the reasons I got into teaching in the first place is I genuinely love connecting with young people. It's probably comes down to a youthful spirit. And to let you know about my education and qualifications, I hold a BA honours degree from the University of Sussex, where I studied international relations and philosophy. I also studied philosophical literature and drama and theatre while doing that. So theatre was part of my education as well, which it plays into how I manage my classroom and some of the activities we do. So I will speak to you about that later when we hopefully meet in person. I'm also a fully qualified TEFL and TESOL teacher with an internationally recognized qualification in that. Over the years, I've built on that foundation with a lot of professional development, including specialist training in IELTS instruction across all four of the main skills of IELTS. I've done some extra courses with teaching young learners, with oracy development, gamification in the classroom. So all of that is to say, as I really love teaching and I really love finding new and interesting methods, both from teaching courses and from other teachers, into how I can improve how I can improve myself as a teacher. In terms of my teaching experience, I've been teaching English internationally for just over 10 years across 3 countries. So Spain, the Czech Republic, and now Vietnam. In Spain, I taught all ages and levels from kindergarten, but mostly there was I was doing a lot of adult teaching and teenagers, so secondary teaching. In the Czech Republic, I taught drama and ESL as a secondary school at a secondary school called Victoria Scholar. There, I'm actually really proud. I mean, this goes back to my teaching theatre. We were doing ESL classes mainly, but we had another part of the class which was a drama, a theatre class. And for 2 years in a row, I'm very proud of this, my class won a competition for best play. And that was across several secondary classes. So I'm really, really proud of that achievement. I also worked in kindergarten school, preparing very, very young learners as young as 4 years old for their first year of school, primary school, through phonics, storytelling, and play-based learning. Also really loved that experience as well. And got very, very good grades for my English learners in that school as well. Since moving to Hanoi, I've been working at Apollo English, where I teach both IELTS preparation and young learner classes. I plan my own lessons from scratch there. I've mentored other teachers in lesson planning and classroom management and gamification of course materials. I've conducted parent demonstration classes as well, quite regularly. And I've also, again, really proud to say this, had very, very high, really, really solid renewal rates for my classes. I think that's because I feel very, very comfortable with the students. I think that they trust me, and they feel that I'm approachable and I have a good humor with them and good rapport. So this, as I said, in Apollo, I've been teaching all the way from wee little age 4, all the way up until secondary, and even some IELTS exam candidates. What makes me stand out as a teacher? I think one is my creativity, which I hope to speak to you more about when we meet. The second is I really love learning. I have a deep enthusiasm for learning things across the board, whether it's in technology, whether it's in technology, science, or my area of where I'm most comfortable, which is the humanities or arts. All of those kind of topics are things that I'm really, really fascinated by personally. So I think my enthusiasm from them, especially when we're doing topic-based learning with, say secondary students, my enthusiasm for that is infectious. I think. And I'm glad to see that also the students are really, really enthusiastic about it, which makes it even more fun to teach. So that is one of my real areas I think that I stand out. Another area I think I'm great in is I really am very approachable, and I always have a good rapport, good humor with my students. I very, very rarely have to kind of raise my voice, but I do at the same time have a very, very nice, comfortable classroom management style, which I think students fit in well and are able to show a very, very high degree of discipline within my class. With the way I organize my classes, so I think I really stand out in that kind of level. Last thing I say, just why Vietnam? So I would like to tell you a kind of story, just to explain why I chose to come to Vietnam. When I was about 9 years old, I think I was 8 or 9 years old. For some reason, in my primary school, we were actually learning about Vietnam, and I looked at the pictures and everything like that, and I became really, really fascinated when I was 8 or 9 years old about Vietnam, to the point where I went up to my mother and I asked her, can she buy me some books about Vietnam? And she was very, very surprised. And she went with me to go and buy some books on Vietnam, and I read them avariciously. I was really, really kind of obsessed for a year or so about Vietnam. So I read a lot about the history. And ever since then, I always wanted to visit Vietnam, and I don't know why I didn't do it up until last year, but I've just, from a very, very young age, been deeply kind of impressed and just fascinated by Vietnam and the Vietnamese. And coming here, I think has exceeded all my expectations in that I really, really have enjoyed my time here. I enjoy the people, their fun spirit. I enjoy the food. I enjoy the culture. I have a really good community here. And yeah, so that's why Vietnam. So I hope that explains everything. And I wanted to say, wish you a good day. Thank you for listening, and I hope to speak to you soon. Thanks so much. Bye bye.